Pretty strong team, you know, for the Reds.
Yeah, certainly one of the strongest teams that I've been involved with in terms of trial teams. Some of the boys are coming back from Wallaby duties. They didn't have a trial last week against Wagga, and some guys impressed in Wagga, so they get another opportunity this week.
Just looking for half a game out of some of those Wallaby boys to ease them in?
This is our last trial, so we're trying to get as many minutes out of these guys as possible. So some guys will play 40 minutes, but most of them will play sort of 50, 60 minutes.
I know you were still kind of fiddling with that halves pairing and that I guess 10-12 pairing as well. Another new combination this week?
Yeah, Christian comes back into the side, so everything was on track for Christian to play in Wagga, and then he picked up a little niggly injury, which ruled him out of that game, and Matty Tamura had his opportunity there. But this is the combination that we wanted to trial in the first game, and we finally get our chance to see how it's going to perform.
So is that the way, like if it performs well, that's what you're going to stick with? Like I think that's the way they finished last year, if I remember correctly. Is that like you find that combination is working well? Because in the past, Pup's been a specialist 10, I guess, in his eyes, but that's changed a little bit now.
Yeah, they're going to be interchangeable, but this is the way they finished up last year. So Matty Tamura started the season at 10 last year, and Christian at 12, and then Matty got injured, and Christian got an opportunity in there, and it just suited our team last year. So we want to give that combination a first shot this year.
When we look at that team, it's almost the team that played in the finals last year, bar a couple of little tweaks and changes. But in your eyes, are there still spots up for grabs in that starting 15? Yeah,
I think some guys out of the Wagga trial can feel a little bit unlucky that they're not getting a second opportunity here. So the thought process behind this one is just to give the Wallabies and Henry Spate an opportunity to come back in and see where they're at. But there's a number of guys who performed really well: Nigel Arwong, Andrew Smith, Tom Staniforth, Joe Powell. And I could keep naming guys who played extremely well in Wagga and don't have that opportunity to start or play this week.
With Henry coming back in, like you said, he was telling us before, he's changed his body shape a little bit this year to handle both. He played the 6 games last week and been training with 7s for a month. How do you see him slotting back into a 15s lineup?
Really difficult for him. So he got back to us on Wednesday this week. He's had one run with the boys. He's had to pick up all the new moves and the new patterns that we're running in one day. So it's been quite difficult, and we had a fairly intense tournament on the weekend. It was certainly enjoyable to watch, and I know the players sort of push their bodies to the limit. So he's a little bit fatigued. I spoke to him yesterday. He's a little bit fatigued. His legs are still very heavy, so we'll see how he goes. But I think it's important, because this is our last trial, to get him out there and see how that combination is going to go.
Alan Alatoa as well. Scotty Ceo's obviously coming back from a couple of injuries. Is this Alan's chance this year to really step up and I guess take on a bit more load?
Yeah, he had a really good pre-season, and that was topped off with a really good performance in Wagga last week against the Waratahs. So Scotty could come back into the starting side, but we felt that Alan played well enough last week to retain that starting position.
With Poey, obviously going to be a lot of speculation about him until something's done. Is it a distraction at all?
No, I think we've been through a few of these this year already in terms of where a player is going to be next year. And we've spoken about the focus has to be on this campaign, and we're not looking any further ahead. So there's a number of guys who still have to make a decision about next year, and we have to make decisions on a number of guys still about next year. So that's going to be an ongoing process, and I think we're well and truly past that stage of it disrupting our preparation.